Why, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Josh Veal and I'm the managing editor of Teach and Travel, for those who don't know, which is the official publication of SIDA, the Student and Youth Travel Association. And today we are here to talk about one of my favorite things the SIDA Youth Foundation does, the Ripley Hunter World as a Classroom Essay Contest. So again, for those who don't know, this essay scholarship was created in recognition of Ripley Hunter, the Youth Foundation's founder and chair. And the whole idea is that it's a way for middle and high school students to share their stories about how travel has impacted their lives. So tons of students send in their travel essays. Me and the foundation read all of them, loved them, and worked really hard to narrow it down to top 5 finalists with one first place winner. So that first place student wins a $1,500 cash scholarship. And while we say finalists, the other 4 finalist students all win $1,000 scholarships too. So really, they're all winners. Plus, all 5 of them will have their essays published in Teach and Travel magazine, which is distributed to over 40,000 educators and SIDA members, plus all of our online reach. So yeah, today we have 4 of the top 5 finalists with us. One couldn't make it, but they're here to talk about travel and their essays. And at the very end, I will be announcing that first place winner of the World as a Classroom Essay Contest. And I do want to note real quick that in previous years, with our top 5, we had it ranked 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th, etc. And this year, the essays were so quality, it was so close. It was just essentially a tie. So it was basically impossible to rank them against one another. So instead, this year, we just have 5 finalists with 1 winner narrowly leading the pack. So that all being said, it's time. Let's bring them on now. And I'm just going to go in alphabetical order with their first names. So as you guys come on, if you can tell people your full name, your grade, and where you're from, that would be great. So first off, we have Audrey. Welcome, Audrey. Oh, you're welcome.
Hi, my name is Audrey He. I'm a rising junior, and I'm from Plano, Texas.
Awesome. And next up, we have Fiona.
Hi, my name is Fiona Fachalonga. I'm from Carmel, New York, and I'm on my way to go to college.
Awesome. Which college, can I ask?
Yes, SUNY Albany.
Nice. And next up, we have Kenzie.
Hi, I'm Kenzie O'Shazley. I'm a rising senior, and I'm from New York City.
Nice. And Samira?
Hi, my name is Samira Cisneros. I'm from Quito, Ecuador, and I'm finishing grade 12 this year.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so happy to have you with us. And now we are going to jump right into some questions. So first up, I want to know, how did you learn about this contest and what made you decide to enter? So Audrey, we're going to start with you again.
I heard about this contest from a friend. I believe she was either like a finalist or a winner. I think it was 3 years ago. Nice. And yeah, that's how I heard about it. And I read the prompt, and my family has always loved traveling. It's one of the activities that brings our family together. Mm-hmm. And I'm a huge fan of writing and reading, so I thought I'd give it a shot.
Perfect. Well, congrats. And let's bring on now Fiona. Same question. How did you learn about the contest and what made you decide to enter?
So I'm extremely interested in traveling. So I searched the internet for scholarships about travel where I could use my experience and passion for travel to write an essay. And I happened to find the scholarship, so I applied.
Perfect. Kenzie, you're next.
Actually, my green team coordinator at school, she sent me like a link to this essay. It was like a flyer that she received, and she said that, oh, this looks interesting because she knows I love to travel. So she was curious to see if I would enter, and I did end up doing it after reading the prompts and looking over all the previous winners. I just thought it was such a cool contest, so I just threw my name in the ring.
Awesome. Perfect. Good work. And lastly, this time, Samira.
Yep. So I found about the contest on the internet just by Googling because I was looking for scholarships to travel. So there weren't many for international students, and this was the one that I found, and that was why I thought I could try to enter.
Perfect. Well, great work making it to the finals, everyone. And Yeah, well, as we all know, as I said, each finalist receives 1,000 and the winner gets 1,500. So no pressure, but I just wanted to ask if you guys had a plan or an idea on how to use that money. So to change things up, let's start with Fiona this time.
Okay. So I'm entering college in the fall, and I intend to study abroad because I am majoring in Italian. So I would love to study in Italy, and it will help me pick up the language more, definitely. So I will put the money aside to use for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to study abroad in France, and a scholarship certainly would have helped make that happen. So now we're moving on to Kenzie.
Well, I'm applying to college this year, so obviously it's a very expensive process. And so yeah, I was thinking about using that to kind of like pay for the applications or any resources that would help me probably like enhance my application or the process itself. So
awesome. Cool. And next, Samira.
So this year I'm taking a gap year before going to college. That's why I really wanted to see if I could get some funding into my travel experiences that I want to get this year, and that's what I want to use the money for this time.
Perfect. That's exciting. And Audrey.
I want to use some of the money for charity. I'm thinking of donating some to an environmental charity because that's something I'm really passionate about, and also a cancer research one because my mom is a cancer survivor. And then the rest of the money, I think I'll probably use to fund a trip I'm taking to DC to see Lord.
Oh, nice. All great ideas. To be honest, my girlfriend just bought us tickets to see Lord today. So anyway, now I want to talk about the actual essays. So, you know, the full essays, people won't get to read until they show up in the magazine. But I want to talk about what you guys wrote. So, you know, just a brief summary of your essay and really what was the inspiration, you know, the story behind it. So this time, let's start with Kenzie.
So my essay kind of reflected like a self-reflection of my privilege. So I talked about the trip I took to Egypt one year. It was a few years ago. I was a lot younger. And basically before the trip, I had bought these like new pair of white shoes and I was so excited to wear them. And probably not the best idea to go to a desert in white shoes, but you know, and on the way there, some cranberry juice like dripped onto my shoes and they were no longer white. And I flipped. I was so upset. I didn't talk to my mom like the whole car ride because she's the one that dropped it on my shoes. But then on the way there, we kind of were passing through this village and it was definitely an underdeveloped village. And it was like a rest stop, and I ran into this little boy. He was about 7 or 8 years old. He was very small. I don't know exactly how old he was, but he kind of saw me and he knew that I was foreign. And the way he knew actually was because that I had shoes on. And he said, no kids here have shoes. They can't afford shoes. And it really made me feel really, really guilty the way that I was acting. I was like, oh my gosh, this kid doesn't even have shoes and I'm here complaining over some stained white shoes that I just bought. So yeah, it was like a reflection of my privilege, and I took my shoes off and I gave it to him. I was like, it does not matter, like you have it. I could see he had like blisters on his feet and I just felt so terrible. So yeah, I took my shoes off and I gave it to him and I was like, these are just a pair of shoes to me, but to him they could mean like a whole different world. So yeah, it was really eye-opening to see how different people live around the world.
Yeah, and I gotta say, you know, that's a common theme in a lot of the essays is, you know, people getting outside of sort of their bubble they didn't realize they were living in, and you know, seeing how other people live, and yeah, that's definitely, travel is great for that. So yeah, great, thank you very much for sharing that. And now Samira.
So in my case, my essay was based on a story where for me, learning is such a big thing. I've always been centered on learning. And so taking a class at school and remembering what my teacher told me about Chichen Itza, which is in Mexico, made me think how learning can be so different in contrast between learning inside a classroom and going to the actual place where it all happened. So that's what my essay is about, the different ways I can learn and that everybody can learn to learn by traveling and getting new experiences and experiencing the actual culture that a place has and how that can impact the way that one views the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's the whole reason it's called The World is a Classroom essay contest, because that's what it's all about. Thank you so much. Audrey, you're up next.
So my essay was about my family travels to national parks. My dad's kind of crazy about going to the American national parks. This summer we're actually going to Yellowstone, but
Nice.
basically my dad, he's always been sort of more reserved and emotionally distant, but while we were at national parks, it was like I was seeing a new side of him. So I think my travels definitely brought me closer to my dad. Another idea that I wrote about in my essay was how seeing all these national parks in America gave me a greater appreciation of nature and just seeing how beautiful Earth is naturally and how it's so important to conserve these places. That sort of sparked my interest in like environmentalism and sustainability.
Awesome. Definitely. Sweet. And Fiona?
So my inspiration for this essay was my trip to Italy, my first ever trip to a foreign country. And in my essay, I talk about how knowing the Italian language while traveling in the country expanded my perception of the world and myself in it. When I first started Italian, taking Italian in school. It wasn't my favorite class. It was probably my least favorite class. And I was like, when am I ever going to use this in a real situation? How is this even helpful? And as I just got more advanced, I was like, okay, maybe one day I'll travel to Italy and maybe I can use this. And then when I traveled to Italy, I found my passion for just languages, and I found out how important it is for communication and to know the language and how much you can learn from other people and cultures by just being able to communicate with them, and how different the experience would have been if I didn't know the language. In addition to it being about travel and my language skills, my essay is also about how putting in the hard work and effort towards my goal of becoming bilingual paid off, and how it boosted my confidence talking to strangers in a different language. And hopefully in the future, I'll be able to learn more languages.
Definitely, yeah. That's all awesome. Sweet. Love to hear that from you guys. And I want to say too, as I was looking over the top 5, I think part of why your stories were all chosen is because they weren't just, academic essays saying why travel is good, but we had compelling stories in each of them. Each of you gave a sense of like what it was like to actually be there and to go through that experience from beginning to end. So I just want to say, as a writer and editor, great work, everyone. And now I did want to ask one more question, and I know it's a big question, but basically the question is, what do you love about travel? It's a huge question, so you can just choose one thing if you want, maybe just your favorite thing about travel. But Samira, let's start with you.
So I think that my favorite thing about travel is that you get to meet so many people that otherwise you wouldn't have, and that you can experience things in a different way. It gives you a sense of freedom and a lot of like trying to see into yourself more and understand yourself better. and others as well. So I think that's my favorite thing about travel.
Awesome, definitely. And Audrey?
My favorite part about travel is definitely visiting all these different places, and it's like eye-opening to see how different people are living, their cultures, food, language, all of that. Like there's a word called sonder. It's sort of the realization that everyone around you has lives just as complex as yours. And when I travel, I feel that, but on a wider scale, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the most kind of fun and insightful things you can do while traveling is just take a moment to appreciate that idea, that sonder, that idea of these are all real people who have lives completely different from my own, even if they live, halfway across the world. Fiona.
I love to travel because it gives me the opportunity to just spend so much time with my family, go on adventures, but at the same time learn about a place and its culture and just everything that surrounds it. And it really puts into perspective, like just how different, but how beautiful our world is and how unique each place can be, but how similar we all are and how many things we have in common. And it's just weird that we have these things that all bind us together, even though we live in such different places.
Definitely. And Kenzie?
Yeah, I think definitely my favorite thing about traveling is kind of, for me, it's like a medium to experience like 1,000 different lives. Like I feel like every time I go to a different location, I just cultivate a new identity specific to each different like place that I visit. And I just think it's an amazing way to learn about culture and the different social and behavioral norms. I think it just makes you a better global citizen. It makes you a more empathetic human being. So I think it would just be really sad if you just had to be kind of stuck in just one isolated bubble your whole life, and it's not a way to live. So I think traveling just really brings out humanity in you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. And, I think the past year has shown, if anything, that living in a bubble is not the ideal way to live, although it might be necessary occasionally. That all being said, I want to thank you all so much for taking this time to talk to us. That's all the questions I have, but we got a lot of great insight out of you guys. And I know you're all going to keep going on to do great things. And, once again, this isn't really over yet because the essays will be appearing in Teach and Travel for the next year. So the next issue in September will actually have our first place winners essay. And I should have brought I'll do a little drum roll. That's all I have. I am going to announce now who the winner is, but I won't make you give a speech. So the winner of the Ripley Hunter World is a Classroom essay contest for this year, 2021, is Samira. Congratulations. Like I said, I won't make you give you a speech, but I just wanted to say that your essay was really a great encapsulation of what travel has to offer, not just as like a cultural experience, but as an educational one. Really captured that idea of the world being a classroom perfectly. And like I said, people will be able to read that in full in the September issue. But I want to thank you all because you all did a great job. As I don't know if I've said that enough, but congratulations to each of you on your scholarships that you've won. Excited to see you guys make great use of them. And I hope you all have a great summer ahead of you before school comes back in fall. And that goes to all of our viewers too. So thank you to everyone for listening, and Teach and Travel will be back with more tips, more resources for educators, more platforms for students, et cetera, et cetera. So hope everyone has a great summer. Get out there and travel safely, because not everywhere is fully vaccinated, believe it or not. And we'll see you next time.